Hi everybody, welcome back. As introduction, I'm taking you along on a walk to my weekly physiotherapy session. Oh goodness, folks, the end of the year is creeping closer and closer, and Dragon Man's exams are in front of us like a huge mountain that we have to climb because somehow this term was or is just way too short, and somewhere we lost or missed some time. The time for us to vacate our rental property is also creeping closer, with Christmas looming in between, and we still have not found the right home. I'm afraid that there is a huge divide between what we need and what we can afford. I've always kept up with the housing market trends because I managed and sold properties in a previous life. But since I stopped working for a boss about 5 years ago, I felt I had enough and stopped looking at properties and prices. And something happened during my absence over the last 5 or so years, which I did not keep up with. Anyway, as it involves politics, I'm not going to talk about it here, but suffice it to say that it feels as if I went to sleep and woke up in a different world. This old lady is thus a little tired, a little agitated, and not frantic yet, but definitely a little worried. But let's move on to the royals. But before I do, I just want to acknowledge the death of Matthew Perry. Matthew had now earned his angel wings, and I hope he catches up and teams up with another of my favorites, Robin Williams, in heaven. Rest in peace, Matt and Robin. The world and I will certainly miss you. Okay, on to the royal beat. A number of you corrected me yesterday by telling me that the actual culprit, again in inverted commas, mentioned in the byline article, the member of staff who supposedly leaked Mexit, was actually Christian Jones. Well, Christian Jones or not, the fact remains that although the world and his auntie apparently knew that Harry and Meghan were going to rock off at some point, no one knew that they were planning on leaving the way they did. So it is highly unlikely that anyone in any of the households knew exactly when, where to, and what they wanted out of it. Dan Wootton actually said that he knew since the 26th of December that Brexit was imminent. And he has also clearly stated that he was told by the Sussex's own press liaison or press secretary. And according to Dan, he has receipts. So, regardless of who is being accused of what, the fact remains the same. Normal people go back, hand in their notice, negotiate their severance pay or whatever is due to them, whether it's their pension contributions or whatever. They work out their notice period, whether it is 1 or 3 months or whatever. And then they start house hunting wherever they are moving to, find a home, go back, pack up their household. And only then do they move their family to their new home. A process which can take from 1 to 6 months. I mean, ask me about it. But not so Harry and Meghan. They came back, immediately demanded meetings, and within 3 days announced they were leaving without any notice period, any agreements, any negotiations, any paperwork, absolutely anything being concluded. I want you to remember that the royals often have appearances and events booked 3 to 6 months in advance. And like any of the other households, Harry and Meghan also had staff. And to this day, I wonder who paid the staff they left behind their severance pay. Was it Daddy? I think so. They also left the home they had and everything in it. Yes, they continued the lease, but grown-up people take care of their belongings and the place they live in, whether it belongs to them or not. They don't just abandon it and expect other people to take care of the home and the garden. No, no, no. You make your own arrangements. And more than that, you do not take your family and the family pets and expect other people to provide you with accommodation. No, Harry and Meghan did not act like adults. They acted like children with no sense of responsibility. Anyway, guys, so now it is Dan Wootton who is effectively losing jobs left, right, and center, losing his ability to earn a living. And why? Because two shit stirring, immature, entitled 42 and 39-year-old children has more money and power than him. Power and money they have not earned or deserved. Dan Wootton, with a Bachelor of Art degree in Media Studies and Political Science, a man who has worked for every little thing that he has, a journalist whose job, yes, JOB, it is to sniff out the news, is now being pursued for doing his job. Does that make any sense to you? Because it certainly does not to me. But having said that, I sort of expected all of this when Dan was suspended from GB News because of things Lawrence Fox said about Ava Evans. Dan was also suspended regardless of the fact that he apologized and admitted that he should have intervened sooner. And regardless of the fact that Ava Evans said the exact same and worse about Lawrence Fox before he even came onto Dan Wootton's show and said what he said. Well, I honestly don't care about personal vendettas, and I did not even know who Ava Evans was until this very debacle. But I did watch and enjoy Dan Wootton's show on GB News. And although I have nothing against Mark Dolan or any other GB News presenter, I have not watched an entire GB News program since Dan left. Yes, I watched YouTube clips, but that is it. Dan was the guy I listened to when I started winding down my day. I think his show started at 9 p.m., which was about 10 p.m. here. Okay, so that's the time I put my pen and paper down and I watch random news. As I said, normally Dan Wootton on GB News. I liked the fast pace of his program, and that is it. I don't care what he did in his personal life. I cared what entertainment he presented us with. And remember, Dan wasn't the only one. Calvin Robinson was also suspended. And why? Because he supported Dan. So two down, how many more to go? There was Piers Morgan, whom the Sussexes also tried to cancel. Now, I'm not always in the mood for old Piers, but I shall continue to support him because he did not buckle and actually made a bigger, better comeback. Good for him. And then there was Sharon Osbourne, who had to leave the talk because she supported Piers Morgan. The list of cancelled celebrities and journalists in Harry and Meghan's wake is growing longer and longer, with YouTube creators and social media contributors adding to the list of victims of the Sussex narrative, whether directly or indirectly. Now, I listened to Rivers' quick rant last night, and I think he is 100% right. It appears there are indeed evil forces gunning for what is still good in the monarchy, and it saddens me. It really, really does. I do not always agree with Prince William's methodology. I do not always agree with his tentative short reach into the political arena, and I do not agree with his climate change ideology. But I also see a lot of good in him. I see a genuine interest in the people of England. I see a bit of humour, supported by a staunch belief in his own values, whatever they may be. I do not look at William and Catherine with rose tinted glasses, but regardless of their personal issues and the ups and downs they may also have, I appreciate even more the united front they present to the public. I also like the example they set for others as parents. I also know that the both of them are intelligent and really bright and not just thinking they are more clever than anyone else purely because of being royal. Actually, I like their humble and down to earth attitude, yet somehow they also manage to act with the decorum we expect from royals. William and Catherine are still like a beacon of hope and belief in what is right, whether you are British or not. So now I'm asking you, how far is Harry and Meghan going to be allowed to go? How much more division are they going to cause? How much more damage? How much more will they be allowed to do? Because that is what it is coming down to, isn't it? And pray tell, why are established journalists supposedly buying into their nonsense? Audible, yes, and it is audible and not audioble, responded to media inquiries that they are not in talks with Harry and Meghan. Now I'm asking, are they lying? Or are the ones who are saying that they are negotiating a deal bigger than that of Spotify with Audible? Are they lying? Well, tell me, why would Audible offer them millions on condition that they, Audible, handle the format and production, as a certain journalist said? I mean, goodness, folks, I would love, absolutely love a deal like that. Come on, you pay me millions and then you do all the work. Come on, guys, Audible and the like. Here I am. Come get me. I'll do whatever you ask. Just pay me that cool million, or two, or three, or 20, like you would be paying Meghan and Harry. Anyway, it appears that everyone is also forgetting that Charles had or still has a deal with Amazon. Now, why? Come on, tell me, why would Amazon or Audible risk losing the support of a king by making a deal with Harry and Meghan? Please, pray, explain. I don't think so. I think it was Meghan and her crowd manifesting in the media once again. And Meghan's manifesting, as we know, never works for her. Then I'm also waiting to see whether the king will mention the new media bill in his speech on the 7th of November. And another question, will WhatsApp finally show their grit? Early in the year, WhatsApp indicated they would rather be banned in the United Kingdom than comply with their new online safety bill, which is sort of a subdivision or subheading of the media bill. And WhatsApp is refusing to remove their full encryption or their default encryption. But like I said, that was early in the year, March, April, thereabouts. So what now? A ban will be worth nothing anyway, as people will still be able to access WhatsApp by switching on their VPN. But my question is, so it is not good enough preventing journalists from reporting the truth? I mean, Dan Wootton did not lie about Megxit. No, he told the truth. What he said was proven to be 100% true. But is the way we communicate with each other also now going to be managed and controlled? Good question, don't you think? And no one has yet answered me as to what exactly Harry is doing or contributing as part of the Aspen Institute. Couple of questions to think about, I think. Anyway, guys, I'm done here for today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.